Hey, what's up guys, it's Luke here, and I'm back with a new video. So I know it's been a crazy fall TV schedule so far. I mean, with new shows like Westworld, Luke Cage, and Atlanta, and also with new seasons of shows like Ash vs. Evil Dead, American Horror Story, and The Walking Dead, which I'll get to later on. But it's so easy to get lost in these shows in order to binge watch them in order to keep up. But I'm here to talk to you about a show that I hope is your new Netflix obsession, and that is Black Mirror. Now, for anyone that has not seen Black Mirror, I suggest that you watch it on Netflix after this video, but if you don't know what it is, Black Mirror is essentially a modern-day Twilight Zone with a center focus on technology. And what's great about the show is it's an anthology series, so there are each episode is new characters, new story. It's all fresh. And there are some episodes that definitely leave you with dread about the technological advancements that take place in the episode, but there's some that actually leave a sense of hope, I guess, for lack of a better word. But I wanted to talk about not just how great the cinematography, the acting, the directing, all the production that is put into the show, which is obviously great. But I wanted to talk to you about my personal opinion after I watch pretty much almost every episode of it, and that's after the episode is over, I sit back and I feel like, how can I imagine a world with this type of technology? And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about with a specific episode, but not give spoilers of that episode. So, for example, in the first episode of the newest season that was just dropped on Netflix on Friday, called Nosedive. Now, imagine a world where social media and reality is essentially blended into one, and people have a 0 to 5 rating. And in that 0 to 5 rating, you can take pictures, post them on your social media, and have that also be rated by people from a 0 to 5 rating. But also, every interaction you have with people is also rated on a 0 to 5 rating, and I'm not just talking about your so-called friends, but literally anyone you bump into. So for example, if you bump into somebody on the street and accidentally spill something on them, they can give you a 0 rating, or vice versa. If you give a smile to somebody or hold the door for someone, they'll give you a 5-star rating, for example. But also, take this into account. The socialite, beautiful people are all in a 4.5 to 5 rating, and on the other side of the spectrum, there are I guess, what you would call not so good looking or even poor people on a 2 to 0 rating. Now, say for example, you are someone that has a 3.9 rating, and you go to apply for a loan for a business that you're starting up. And along the way you're driving and you cut somebody off, and that person gives you a negative rating. And then on your way to the bank, you bump into someone and you spill something, they give you another negative rating. And then you go into the bank and they find out that your rating is not what the rating is according to government standards to give you this loan for your business. And so you flip out, which then causes more people to give you a negative rating, which then drops your rating to, let's say, a 2.5. And then you are arrested for causing a scene, which then puts you on a block, and your 2.5 rating is stagnant, and it can only be released after a 24-hour period. But if you get more negative comments or negative ratings, it puts you on a double damage penalty. That's essentially what happens in this first episode called Nosedive, and I won't go into more specifics about it, but that's essentially what happens. And you have to think, can you imagine a world where that would happen, where your financial or your even social status is measured on a ranking, and you can't apply for loans, you can't, go on first-class seatings on a plane, or even go on a plane because your rating is so low. And on the other side, too, you get special luxury amenities because you have such a high rating. You would essentially have to be fake to anyone in order for them to give you a high rating on, something as simple as, a fake smile, or even kiss ass to someone in order for them to give you a higher rating. And I'm sitting there thinking after this episode, like, I couldn't really imagine myself being so fake to people in order for them to give me a high rating, because I don't really care. But it's episodes like this that, get you to question your reality of technological advances, of what that could actually mean, or thinking that something like Facebook could implement some sort of system where this could actually happen. And it's great storytelling and great acting and great directing like this in Black Mirror that puts it into a great, nicely paranoid type of ball that makes the show great, and it keeps me wanting more, and I'm not the only one, judging by the critical reception and quote-unquote cult following that this show has received so far. And another great thing about this show is that there are 2 episodes in particular that I'm going to talk about in which the art of this show imitates life. For example, in the first episode in the UK version, which is also on Netflix, is an episode called The National Anthem. And in this episode, the princess of, I guess, London or the UK gets kidnapped, and her captors hold her for ransom. And one of their demands is that the Prime Minister must have sex with a pig on national television for everyone to see. Spoiler alert. And there's more to that episode, but that's just what I'm going to talk about in this particular part. Now, going back to when I said it imitates life, there was a story that came out, I want to say around maybe 6 months or even a year after that episode aired. There was a story that came out that the then Prime Minister of England, David Cameron, had sex with a pig, I guess as some sort of college fraternity initiation or whatever. And it's parallels like that that make me think of, as soon as I saw that story broke, I immediately thought of Black Mirror. As soon as that story broke, I was like, wow, that's exactly like the National Anthem episode. And it's so crazy how that episode has such a direct parallel to an actual real life event. And there's more to that story, but it's just crazy how that particular thing actually imitated or even manifested into a real life thing. That happened way before Black Mirror happened, but it's still crazy to think about. And another example is an episode, again, of the UK original version of Black Mirror was an episode called The Waldo Incident, or something Waldo. And in this episode, a satirical cartoon named Waldo, who's more of like a political satirist, goes around England and he just, says what he wants, and he says funny things to people, talking about, political satire or just satire in general. And he gains such a fan favoritism, and all these people around England love him, that he catches the eye of the political spectrum, and they essentially make him run for office. And if that story sounds familiar, I suggest that you take a look at the Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump, because it's like they almost predicted his rise to political favor. And I mean, despite what side you stand on the political spectrum, you can even say the same thing of Hillary, but it's Donald Trump who is the one that claims to say, oh, I can say whatever I want, or he just has these lambastic just sayings, these sound bites that resonate through the American populace, and it's just something like that that reminds me of that specific episode. So it's things like that that make Black Mirror such a great series, because not only have people picked up on, real life events that they can point back to Black Mirror, but it's just something that is so amazing, and especially with the way they tell these stories about technology and how they can hurt us, or, it's also a story of the human condition, of how they react to such of these technological advances, that makes it so great, and you just have to keep watching more. And I know that on Friday they just dropped 6 episodes, and I know they will drop 6 more later on in the future. So if you haven't checked it out, I suggest that you do, because it's such a great story, and a great TV show, I guess, that you should definitely check out. And before I go, I wanted to talk about The Walking Dead Season 7 premiere, and I just wanted to say it was amazing. I mean, I knew going in Glenn was going to die. I mean, they took that scene straight out of the comics, and I couldn't have asked for such a better physical performance. And when I say physical, I mean going from the comics into the medium of television or just in video. It was so cool to see that scene go from the panels of a graphic novel onto the screen. And it was just so awesome, and I hope that, it turns into something greater. Like, the show is, had a stagnant run, and I picked it up a lot in the, 5, 6, and 7 seasons, and I hope that it just turns into something even better than it already is. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about Black Mirror. Do you like it or not? And, comment on it so we can open a dialogue about how great it is, or even The Walking Dead, or even any other TV show that you find to be awesome in this new fall slate of television. So yeah, if you liked the video, please give it a like, even subscribe, and comment on it. That would be amazing. And that's about it, and I'll see you guys later.